Well, good to see everyone. I know we're standing in between you and the weekend right now, so we hope that we provide some good information that will be helpful to you. And my name is Stacy Edelman. I'm Director of Federal and State Programs for JCPS. And joining me this afternoon is Jessie Thompson. She is our new Gifted and Talented Supervisor. So this is her big debut, your first time getting to see her. And also joining us is Jenny Stiff, who is our Gifted and Talented Instructional Coach for the district. So something that schools need to know is that even though we're in a virtual setting, we're engaging in NTI 2.0, we do have an obligation, and in fact, it's required by law that we continue serving our identified gifted students in these settings. We do have to implement their gifted plans and provide them the appropriate services that go along with the area of giftedness in which they're identified. But the good news is that a virtual setting is situated perfectly to serve the needs of our gifted students. As I said, it is required by state law that once students are identified, they receive those services. So we are here to support you in being able to serve those kids in the virtual setting. Also, some reminders about gifted work. GT work is not something supplemental. It's not necessarily extra. It combines core standards with the kinds of gifted services that a student needs, depending on his or her type of giftedness. And we also want to remember that GT work isn't more work. It's different work that's more appropriate for the gifted learner. In the NTI setting, we will be providing services and documenting those on the Gifted Student Services Plan. This plan itself is not new for us to do, but we are working on getting these in Infinite Campus. We know it was challenging at the end of last school year when everyone was at home trying to figure out how to get these GSSPs out to parents. And we are working to be able to have this available in Infinite Campus, both to generate, to edit, and then also communicate the gifted services plans to parents, as we're required to do several times during the school year. Now, Jessie's going to take over and talk a little bit about some gifted services options that your teachers and your school will be thinking about.
So I've listed all of the various gifted service options that are on the GSSP. However, I've bolded the services that are most conducive to NTI 2.0 at this time. Collaboration and consultation are a perfect opportunity for teachers to talk to one another, whether you have one of our itinerant gifted resource teachers, or if it's an instructional coach coming in to help with those gifted students. If we have teachers talking to one another about how they can meet those gifted service options, and not just academically gifted students, but collaboration and consultation specifically can be used for our VPA, our leadership, and our creative gifted students also. That's the time that differentiation can come into play. If you're doing a project-based learning activity, you can have different ways for the students to present their information, and you might play on their VPA strengths, or you might play on their creativity or leadership. Independent study is another fantastic option for NTI 2.0, because that's when the kiddos have the latitude to explore one of their gifted characteristics and really get to understand themselves as a learner more, but also being able to do those core standards. Of course, we have the advanced program, advanced placement, and honors in high school. Those are another fabulous service option for our GT students. Now, that doesn't mean you can't try resource services or possibly acceleration, but the KDEA, when we met with them on Friday, were saying that their strongest recommendations are the collaboration, consultation, differentiation, independent study, and advanced and honors while we are in this virtual setting, because it will be the easiest for teachers. Ways that we can service our GT students during this NTI 2.0 time. I'm going to be talking with teachers on the teacher session for the digital learning channel about enrichment activities, choice boards, and project-based learning. Again, these 3 ways incorporate beautifully with the GSSP, and they can use the differentiation, they can use the collaboration, they can use the consultation when doing an enrichment activity, which could be part of the regular core curriculum, but they might be expanding it a little bit further for those GT students, or they might be again presenting them with a different option on how to present what they've learned, especially with our VPA creative thinkers and our leadership goals students, because that gives them the opportunity to play up their giftedness while still participating in that regular setting. Choice boards are a fabulous option. They do allow for the students to pick their strengths and to play up on their strengths when showing how they learned a concept and how they want to present that concept. Project-based learning is a fabulous option. You can incorporate more than one academic standard during a project-based learning lesson, but again, you can also incorporate those service options for our gifted students so that we can make sure that we are following their GSSP. Miss Jenny has been working on a fabulous Gifted and Talented website where we are going to be posting all of our resources, information, links. We just posted the videos from the Gifted Institute that happened a couple of weeks ago over the summer. When I speak with teachers for the teacher training side of it, this is where we are going to direct them to find their resources. This is where we will be putting up resources for our teachers to go to. So it's all in a central location. Stacy, if you hover over the home part, there are 2 pieces. The Gifted Professional Development part of that is where the videos from the Gifted Institute are located. There are a plethora of options for you to look through and resources that you have available for you during this NTI time, but also when it's not NTI, when that finally happens. So this is where we are going to point our teachers to in order to find those resources.
Anything else you all want to highlight about the Gifted site?
On the top, there is the general intellectual ability, the specific academic ability. If you click on each one of those links, there are resources embedded in there for that particular giftedness. There also talks about identification, what it is, the different tools that you can use to help identify those students. We do have some of the digital learning channel videos that occurred back in the spring also uploaded on there. So again, this is where we're going to point our teachers to, because it's got most of the information that they're going to need to make it through NTI 2.0, but also for the future. And for additional teacher support, we are going to have our teacher session on the digital learning channel. Jenny and I will be presenting at that time and explaining to the teachers how collaboration can work in the NTI setting, how consultation can work, how those bulleted service options can work in an NTI setting, and we will be giving them resources also to help them so they have something to take away and immediately be able to start with that planning and be ready for that first day of instruction and not have to worry about what am I going to do, how am I going to meet my child's GSSP. We also have the Gifted playlist on the digital learning channel. We have all of our videos from last year, and then we will be uploading our videos for our ongoing Monday PDA sessions on the digital learning channel. We're going to be doing training specifically for creativity during NTI, specifically for leadership, specifically for our academically gifted students, for our VPA students, for using choice boards the most effectively. So we're going to instruct our teachers to be on the lookout for those ongoing Monday PD sessions on the digital learning channel. And then of course, we are here for you. You can request at any time for a consultation service, for just, hey, I need something, I need a resource for this right now. What do you have? We are more than willing to, we're a phone call away, a text away, an email message away. We can send out information, we can send out links, we can send out guidance. So we are here for you. So it's not just the website, it's us as people also.
All right, so we want to hear from our schools. This is primarily for the principals, but we have a Google form that we're going to ask you to quickly fill out. We need to know updated information about who your gifted lead will be for this school year. We also need to know who your advanced program contact will be. And then we have some questions to find out from you. What do you think your specific needs are for your teachers, for your school, so that we can be sure we're being responsive and providing the support that you all need. Now, we know one of the big questions for this year is going to be about identification, and normally we would start in October with administering the COGAT test to start with general intellectual ability testing. Those things are on hold right now. We're in conversations with KDE and with other districts to try to figure out what an appropriate way to identify students if we're doing it from home would be. We're also working with our testing department to explore any kinds of opportunities. The good news is we are administering MAP virtually this year. We will not use the fall MAP to identify students for specific academic aptitude, but if we are still at home when it comes time to administer winter MAP, then at least we'll have that as an option to do so. And then we are going to work on guidance for schools on identifying students for leadership, creativity, and visual and performing arts while we're in a virtual kind of setting. So guidance is going to come. That's why it's really important that we have your current gifted lead contact information, because that will be the primary way that we send out these kinds of information out to schools. Coding of GT students. You all worked so hard last year to identify students in all 5 areas of giftedness. Some of them you were able to get coded into Infinite Campus, but a lot of them you were holding on to your lists. So it is time that coding can begin. The window opened August 1st. We need to have all of your students that you identified last school year in all areas of giftedness completed. All of that needs to be entered by September 30th. And Jesse will be offering coding trainings for any of your school staff members who need that training and need to know exactly how to enter that data. It's important that the person doing the coding does attend that training, because we find a lot of errors, and this is the data that gets uploaded to KDE. So we want to make sure that we get everything entered appropriately and kids are coded the way they need to be. And the last bullet on this slide is that gifted services do start the first day of school. So that's when students who you have identified are starting the school year as gifted, and their services can begin on day 1. So in summary, here is the checklist. These are some things that are coming up, and this is what we would ask principals to go away from this and do. One is the link is coming to you. We want you to fill out that Google form so we have appropriate contacts, and you have an opportunity to tell us exactly what your needs are for support for getting school started. Next is the GT coding, which must be done by September 30th. Make sure you know who is responsible and check with them and make sure that they have a plan for getting trained, that they have a plan for getting all of those students coded by September 30th. A third item on the checklist is the gifted student services plans. Do you know who is responsible? Are they familiar with this? And you can let them know that we are working on a process to do these in Infinite Campus rather than trying to do hard copies like we did last year. And then the last is to make sure that your teachers know about our GT resources, that they attend one of our trainings that's going to happen week after next. It'll be the week before school starts when we have a gifted session on the digital learning channel. We also have the playlist that was mentioned with other videos and our GT website that teachers can access and get all kinds of ideas and strategies and resources that they can use for their classroom. So those are the main things that we would ask that you do as a follow-up to this session today. And as always, when you have questions, when you need help, if you need us to come consult, talk with your staff, work with your gifted committee, any of those things, we're happy to do. We're just an email away. And these are the email addresses for the folks that have been on here with the session today.